The federal government just renewed the equalization program as is for another 5 years behind the backs of the provinces paying for all of it. Who else is tired of Notley and the NDP just letting Justin Trudeau treat us like a colony of Ottawa? I know this is a pretty regional topic, so let me try to explain it a little bit to our American friends watching at home, and then you can really appreciate the injustice of this thing called equalization. I'm going to try to explain it to you in American terms and as simply as I possibly can, even though it is a little bit complicated. Imagine there was a federal government program that sucked money out of Texas, North Dakota, and Oklahoma, billions and billions and billions of dollars every single year, and that money was then sent off to the hands of the federal government. And then the federal government in turn gave the money to California, New York State, and some other irresponsible progressive garbage pile of a state. I don't know, maybe New Jersey. And no matter how bad things got in Texas or Oklahoma or North Dakota, no matter how big their debt ballooned, nor how low the price of oil fell, this program remained the same. To the extent that New York and California and that other unnamed state never bothered to develop their own natural resources to grow their own economies, and they were never forced to rein in their own irresponsible spending. In fact, sometimes those progressive states balanced their budgets while the states providing the money spiraled into deep deficit, depression, and debt. But the program remains the same. Money from those who earned it and produced it flowing to those who refused to. And all the while, those progressive beneficiary states went about demonizing the very industries in Texas, Oklahoma, and North Dakota that allowed for all those generous wealth transfers in the first place. They blocked pipelines, opposing development, and lobbied for taxes that would kill Texas, Oklahoma, and North Dakota's fossil fuel industries. And this program and its treatment of those oil-producing states eventually led to such a sense of alienation that the people in those states wanted to secede from the Union because they were tired of being treated like just a colony. That, my friends, is the Canadian Equalization Program. It is awful. It is unfair. Welcome to Canada. Now, I can't imagine Texas would stand for that sort of treatment from the federal government, but here in Alberta, our progressive government acts like a doormat and lets Justin Trudeau do whatever he wants to do to us, unopposed. It's like if Elizabeth Warren was the governor of Texas when Obama was in power. That's the current relationship between Alberta and the feds in Ottawa. Carbon tax? Yeah, sure, we're in. Phasing out cheap, reliable coal-fired electricity? In the name of Mother Nature, we must. Siphoning wealth out of our province when we absolutely need it the most? Well, if you say so. The federal government just renewed that flawed equalization program that sucks money out of Alberta and Saskatchewan and BC and a couple of others and redistributes it to the east despite our deep recession, with no changes to reflect the changing economic circumstances here on the prairies and the rest of the West. And the feds have done this renewal 1 full year early without any real negotiation from the provinces that have to pay the bill. They did it to us and not with us. Equalization is a $19 billion plus annual program where nearly $12 billion of that goes right to Quebec. And the provinces paying the bill are Saskatchewan, Alberta, BC, Newfoundland, and Labrador. And the provinces paying the bills are the ones with economies linked to strong resource extraction, while the provinces receiving the benefit of equalization are often the provinces opposing resource extraction. BC in this instance is the exception and not the rule. Saskatchewan is livid. According to the Leader Post, Saskatchewan has been formally pushing for a re-examination and a redo of equalization payments for the better part of a year now. And in an interview given yesterday, Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe said he didn't even know that Ottawa had definitively decided the fate of the program for 2019 through to 2024. The feds really didn't care what Saskatchewan was trying to do. The fix was already in. The feds had made their mind up because they don't care what Saskatchewan thinks. They already know what Alberta thinks. Alberta's Finance Minister Joe Ceci is taking his usual clammy hands approach to all of this, sucking up to the feds while doing his best to steal an idea he refused to support because it came from a common sense conservative a little while ago. Let me show you the hypocrisy here. In an interview with the Globe and Mail, Joe Ceci indicated that he saw the equalization issue as one open for discussion. Ceci said, and I'm quoting him here, "It has not worked for Alberta even during the depths of our recession, which started in late 2014 and continued through 2015, 2016, and part of 2017. Ceci said he'd like to see changes so that Albertans can get a better deal from equalization. Oh, really? Well, thanks for finally showing up, Joe, but Jason Kenney of the United Conservative Party has been talking about the unfair equalization formula for about 2 years now, while the NDP have openly mocked him and Saskatchewan for raising the issue and offering some solutions. Jason Kenney even once said that he would be prepared to hold a referendum on a question to force the federal government to renegotiate equalization to remove non-renewable resource revenues from the definition of physical capacity. The United Conservative Party even brought forward a motion in the legislature to call on the NDP to begin preparations for the renegotiation of Canada's equalization formula, which should have started later this year. The motion called on the NDP to immediately begin aggressive preparations for the 2018-2019 equalization renegotiations and update the Assembly on the preparations. The NDP blocked that motion unanimously. That clearly sent a message to Justin Trudeau that he could impose an early equalization renewal with no real opposition from the NDP in Alberta, which at the end of the day also screwed our friends in Saskatchewan and our annoying neighbors over in British Columbia. But now the deal is done, and Ceci thinks that equalization should be up for renegotiation. Brave, brave. Ceci had his chance to put that on the record back in November and put Justin Trudeau on notice. Ceci didn't. The NDP folded. The feds knew they could get away with forcing a bad equalization deal on us because Alberta, under the leadership of Rachel Notley, is Ottawa's punching bag and piggy bank all at the same time. The feds get to do whatever they want to us because there is no provincial leadership willing to stand up to the feds as they treat us like a colony of Upper Canada instead of equal partners in Confederation. For the Rebel.media, I'm Sheila Gunn Reid. What you just saw there is the daily video that I do here at The Rebel, but did you know that I have my own weekly full-length show? It's aptly called The Gun Show, and we talk about issues facing Canadian families. But to get access to my show and the rest of our incredible premium content, treat yourself to a Rebel subscription today.